Thank you for joining us. We are going to discuss the self-control unit. We're just finishing up the workshop. It's actually a webinar. And we have to my left, my name is Kai, by the way. We have to my left Celeste, Adrian, and Elizabeth. I'm very excited. We all took copious notes, so we want to get right into it. Give me some feedback on what you experienced in the workshop. Celeste.
Hi. In the first workshop, I was really excited to really learn more about when she said that your thoughts become your feelings, and your feelings, and the whole relating to that. And what I really liked about that was, well, let me just tell you right from my notes, because I was so excited when she said that controlling how we behave leads to our actions, and I really didn't get that before.
They're controlling the way we think.
And the way we think and the way we feel, and it was really interesting to me when she said that that's actually what self-control is. And I had a revelation. I'd love to share it with you, because as I was sitting there, I started kind of thinking about where self-control began in my life, my first memory of self-control, and I had a really distorted view of what it was. And I wrote it down because it was so powerful of a discovery. And I remember that I was always under the impression that self-control was like how you compose yourself, how you sit, and how you talk, and how you look. And I thought I was taught that that's what self-control was. And the problems came when later in life I thought that when my grandmother wasn't there, or my mother, all those people that were so serious about my self-control, my composure, that I could behave however I wanted to.
So learning that self-control is not about composure. And that's one thing that I like about the self-control unit, because it doesn't teach us how to suppress emotions. Mm-hmm. It teaches us how to guide and direct our emotions, guide and direct the way we feel. Adrian, give me some feedback on what you experienced from the workshop.
Okay, from the first portion, I really got a revelation about how adults have tantrums just like children, except that we don't display them in the same way. I'm not going to fall out on the floor and kick my feet and scream, but I might slam a door, or sigh, or give a huff, roll my eyes, or burn supper, okay?
On purpose.
Yes. And so now I know that these are ways of throwing a tantrum, expressing a lack of self-control, and that if I go back to the beginning and go back to that thought, that I can change that thought, and I can have a different outcome, because burning supper, huffing, sighing, all of those things are going to bring a negative consequence. But if I get myself together and put in a positive thought in that place, then I can get a reward, even if the reward is peace in my home.
Right. And that's most important. Mm-hmm. One thing that we learn as a society is that there are many skills, concepts that we learn, but they're not easily acclimated into everyday life. The importance of the self-control unit is that self-control starts with me. It starts with you. And that's what is dynamic about the program, because it teaches us to internalize and understand what triggers us, what causes this reaction. Why do you feel self-control is an important trait to have?
Well, Kai, of course, the overall seminar was just fantastic, especially because, and as I was relating to it from past reading and just understanding the book, it's so deep and in-depth to go into the knowledge of it, that I saw in the word focus. And I thought that's a powerful word for self-control, because, and I broke it down into an acronym like the stop.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. F, of course, F, focus, on, control, self-control, under, stress. And so it's like that has been something that I have really thought about quite a bit and tried to keep it in my, in my focus. Because we know that ultimately self-control is the foundation, so it's going to lead a life of success, satisfaction, and we all want peace.
We all want peace. I think the focus aspect is very important, because when we're stressed, we all have the tendency to make poor choices. And one thing that I learned from the teacher is that when we have negative thoughts about ourselves, leads us to making poor choices, risky behavior. Have you been your own worst critic, Adrienne?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And prior to learning the Peaceful Solution and prior to studying this program, when I made mistakes, I could become completely incapacitated, beating myself up, crying, and just not productive at all. And when I learned that mistakes occur, and then once it does, if I can fix it, then let's fix it, and if not, then get to the damage control. Move on to making the best of the situation and moving on. It's not the end of the world if I make a mistake. And I'm not the only one who makes mistakes. So instead of becoming totally unproductive, then accept the fact that I made a mistake, deal with the situation, and go on and continue to be productive.
And one thing in the lesson that is very dynamic, it's very powerful, is that acknowledging that we all make mistakes and apologizing for those mistakes, asking for forgiveness, and learning how we can make peace with others. That is what I find very powerful about the self-control unit.
Yes.
And it's applicable in every area. It's not respective of gender. It's not respective of age. I mean, as you talked about children and having temper tantrums.
Right.
How has it affected you as far as professionally?
Well, when I first read the self-control unit, it's like she said, it's so in-depth. I love these workshops because it's just, you can hear someone say it one way and you've already read it and it just, it hits a different chord with you and it opens up a whole new outlook of how you can apply it to your life. And business-wise, we're in the real estate business. And so we have, when it talks about being the building block of foundation for all those other positive character traits, the real estate business, our business is one where you have to have trust and you have to have a reputation, a positive reputation, or you're sunk, but more than anything, you deal with a very diverse population, and a lot of times deals just don't go through. You could put a lot of effort in and it evolves into nothing. And so using self-control, I have found it is so helpful because I am able to wake up, like the teacher was saying just now, I found that just having a positive attitude can change the whole dynamic of every interaction I have with every client. If I go, I think they really receive a positive attitude better. I mean, think about it. If I went up to you and I was like, Kai, I don't think this house is going to appraise. I just don't think it's going to fly. You're never going to get a loan. I mean, it's just not probably great. So it works out much better when you have a positive attitude.
The notes that I took is that there's never a feeling without a thought. And I would like for you and all of us to put that into our everyday life. That's one thing that was so powerful for me. How I think about others, how all of this information then turns into me being successful, like you mentioned, because I'm able to practice self-control, have self-respect, all of those things. I'm just going to put in a plug for the book because it is that amazing. There's not, you see notes, it changes how you think about how to interact with other people. And success and moral decisions, it's past making money. It's past all of those things. On page 174, it said that war is an example of a failure. That is failure. And self-control teaches us how to be respectful, how to interact with other people. And the class, the webinar, all of that was absolutely empowering. It's dynamic. So with that, I want to conclude and thank everyone for joining us for the webinar, and I hope you continue to go to the other classes. Thank you.